Shalom. Please join me as we sit in each other's silence again today. In this time before Easter, and as we're so under the impression of the Passion of Christ, it is also an opportunity to reflect on what it might mean to die in one's own self, to bear one's own cross, and to empty oneself of that which we might be clinging to, of all our attachments. So please join me as we reflect on the emptying out which we encounter in Philippians 2, as we become so aware of Kenosis. Let us first just make sure we're sitting comfortably in our chairs, couches, and make sure you're not crossing your legs, folding your arms, that nothing is signifying closedness. Allow your whole posture to signify a certain openness. You may now close your eyes as you become aware of your surroundings. Once again, the chair upon which you're sitting, any sounds around you, textures, even smells. Everything that is reminding you of being embedded, connected, of belonging. Let us now become aware of our breathing. As we breathe in deeply, and just rest in the grace of breathing, of breath, life-giving breath. And as we breathe out, allow every out-breath to be an emptying of the old self, of everything that you might be clinging to, everything that you might be hoarding, everything that you might be attached to. Breathe in again, deeply, slowly, and allow every in-breath to remind you of life, life in its abundance, which becomes possible as we empty out everything that we cling to, everything constituting the old self. Breathe out again and experience the opening up, the emptying out, the Kenosian. Breathe in again. Rest in the in-breath. Rest in the grace and the abundance of life which you are reminded of. Today, as we sit in each other's silence, I'd like us to contemplate and reflect on Philippians 2, verses 5 to 11. And consider the example that Jesus, the Anointed One, has set before us. Let his mindset become your motivation. He existed in the form of God, yet he gave no thought to seizing equality with God as his supreme prize. Instead, he emptied himself of his outward glory, Kenosis, emptied. He emptied himself of his outward glory by reducing himself to the form of a lowly servant. He became human. He humbled himself and became vulnerable, choosing to be revealed as a man, and was obedient. He was a perfect example even in his death, a criminal's death by crucifixion. Because of that obedience, God exalted him and multiplied his greatness. He has now been given the greatest of all names. The authority of the name of Jesus causes every knee to bow in reverence. Everything and everyone will one day submit to this name in the heavenly realm, and in the demonic realm, and every tongue will proclaim in every language, Jesus Christ, Lord Yahweh, bringing glory and honor to God, his Father. Let us now sit in each other's silence, reflecting together on an emptying out of the old self, as we create space and sit in expectation of what might be, what might replace the old self once we've emptied out everything. In order to do that today, bring to mind any areas from your life where you are aware of habitual reaction of hoarding or clinging. What is your felt experience when you are in the grip of this constricted reaction? Perhaps a physical expression of this might be where you clench your fists to demonstrate a hoarding, constricted inner state, and then release your fists and open your arms out to express a willingness to let go. Let us do that as we sit in each other's silence for the next few minutes. And now, as we've experienced this emptying out together as we sat in each other's silence, let us also be reminded of the abundance offered by God through Jesus as we sit together listening to John 10 verse 10. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness until you overflow. But I have come to give you everything in abundance, more than you expect, life in its fullness until you overflow. Breathe in deeply as we make that part of our lived being, rejoicing and sitting in wonder. Shalom.